Hello, everyone. Socks here, and this is Dead Gamers Talking. We will be talking about a bunch of stuff that affects gamers and people in the gaming and technology industries. Um, and with me are three lovely people. We have Remy.
Hi everybody, it's Remy. You can find me at RemyPunks on the Twitter, YouTube, Hitbox, pretty much all of the places.
And who else have we got? We got Fiora here.
Hello, 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 everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Enjoy the show.
And we
Um,
have. Oh, go on, Fiora. My bad, I cut you off.
okay, sorry. Two things happened then. One, I just turned on the live stream and suddenly heard my voice again. I was like, what's happening? Okay. So my Twitter handle's at FearFrayute. Yeah. Okay, now I'm done.
We also have the wonderful Optimus Deadpool.
Wonderful. Yes. I moved up to wonderful from shitlord. Anyway, so yes,
You're a wonderful
You're one.
shitlord.
I'll take
Damn
it.
it,
I'll take
sucks. I
it.
was about to say that.
I absolutely will become the
Thief.
wonderful shitlord. Yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am Optimus.
wonderful shitlord
blah,
of
blah,
Oz.
blah, 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 blah. I am Optimus Deadpool. This is going great.
And the thing that I would like to tell everybody that we've been talking for about an hour and we've been perfectly clear and concise and to the point, and then we get live and we all forget how to speak.
Or interrupt.
That's what.
Like
That,
me.
that's what.
Sorry.
That's why you do live telecast for these moments. Yeah, you can find me at Optimus Deadpool on Twitter and everywhere else, pretty much. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, if you ever, I don't know, we don't usually hand out Steam names, but I am officially Optimus Deadpool. I got it changed, so you can find me easily on Steam as well. So,
Okay, so guys, what is our first topic for today?
what would y'all like to touch on?
Do you
Because
want
we have
to?
several
We
good
could
ones.
go in chronological event and hit Intel first.
Let's.
Yeah,
That's actually a good idea. Let's do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, if we're going chronologically, it would be Keplik, but I guess
Clapic.
Klepik, Kelpic. I don't really give a
Words,
shit.
sir.
Patrick
Words.
Kelp Forest.
So we're gonna here's what we're gonna do with that. We're gonna do like an article did about Benedict Cumberbatch, where they just changed the ending of his last name
Cumberbatch.
constantly. So we're just gonna do that with
I can
Klepik.
say
Yeah.
Or
Benedict
sorry,
Cumberbatch,
with
but I can't say
Kelpie
Kelpic.
Fur.
Oh,
So
God.
somebody bring everybody up to speed. What happened with him? Why is this
Oh,
relevant?
I can do this real quick.
Yay!
Okay, so basically, Patrick Kelp Monkey, he he everyone knows him from Giant Bomb. Well, a couple of days after he sort of was exposed as kind of blacklisting Kevin Dent, we covered this on our previous podcast. He left Giant Bomb to go over to Kotaku.
Otaku.
So now we have Kotaku sucking up all of the trash from all over the internet because that's what they do. So, yay! That's what's happening.
Sorry,
Really.
I have to jump in.
Go ahead.
What's that? Okay, this just in. Moot is also working for Kotaku, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, you heard me. Moot.
What?
What?
No, I'm
What?
kidding. We
Oh,
said all the
it-
trash.
Oh,
Kotaku
all the
sucking
trash.
up all the
Got it.
trash.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Honestly, I can't. I mean, I could see him.
That's the thing. It wouldn't have shocked me.
Yeah, I would have just been like, I wonder how big his office is.
I
Like,
just
was
want to.
my first thought.
So I just want to remind everybody that, in the topic we touched on last week, I said the problem with the gaming journalism industry as it stands now is that if one person gets fired, another company would just pick them up because they're all kind of in that kind of incestuous
Click.
clique.
Yeah.
So, and that's, hey, we're going to have I think we're going to have a section on this show just called Optimus Was Right. and just like talk about, like, hey, look what you were right about again. So yeah, this proved my point. I was like, what was it, a day after We did
Yeah,
that
it was
show
literally a day. No,
a
it
day
was
after.
barely a day. Yeah.
Yeah, a day after, and I looked at and I saw that, and I was like, well, we got something to talk
Yeah.
about next week. So, so thank you, Kotaku. Thank you for proving my point, you incestuous shitlords.
Well, and
I
the
mean,
thing
it's
is,
not.
in the
Sorry.
hiring process, like I know in the real world where I happen to reside that if you're applying for a job or looking for a job, there's a vetting process. There's usually, you go in, you're interviewed, you maybe have a second interview or something like that. It's not just, I've been unemployed for a few hours. Oh, wait, now I work for this other place. How
But
does
this has
that
been
even,
something he's been planning, or
and
has been
that's,
building.
yeah, and that's the thing is like, how many other people are we going to see jumping ship to Kotaku and its other half Polygon. Um, Somebody needs to draw them like as humans getting
Well,
married. But like how
Oh, I have
many
an idea. I have an idea. I have an idea. Don't worry.
But I mean
but
It's
that's
a
the thing. It seems like everybody's just sort of instead of dispersing and going away, which we would like, they're more consolidating and jumping into the same boat.
that easier to sink. Anyway, well, just want to
Fire the
touch on
torpedoes,
something.
Captain.
Yeah, I just want to touch on something. As someone who has been a part of very small niche industries, um, it isn't uncommon for people to move from either one publication or another or one small firm to another. Um, it's usually quite common. I mean, when you've only got what, 4 or 5 major publication players, the ones pulling the ad revenue, I mean, and getting the clicks, um, there's not a lot of places to go. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
where else would he go? Would he go?
Well, see, I think the point we're trying to make is he shouldn't be anywhere.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, that's kind
you
of the
know,
issue.
but shouldn't like a lot of these people who have been, you know, writing about their friends without disclosure or shilling their friends without disclosure
or
or
actively trying to blacklist somebody from the industry.
yeah, or creating or helping perpetuate and create this culture of fear that they so uh, espouse and rail against when they're the ones who are the perpetrators of creating that climate of fear. So, yeah, I think there's an issue there where people don't know how to journalism and don't know how to be responsible with a platform. That's all it is, you know?
Well, I mean,
Um,
we've heard, Stephen Totillo go on record saying that he really, I mean, without it, in not so many words, he doesn't care about, journalistic integrity. He cares about the clicks.
well,
So,
yeah, but talking about Stephen Totillo from Kotaku, which
yeah,
is part of the Gawker family, which
yeah,
is all about clicks.
yeah. And but what irks me about him the most is that he's the one with the journalism degree. Out of all the people there, he's the one who actually went to school for this.
Yeah, but
You know,
yeah,
that's
but
what irks me more
journalism.
than anything. If anybody should know better. Ugh.
I know,
Anyway,
I know. He should know better, right? And fun part is when you do a journalism thing, one of the first things they teach you is about ethics. But hey, the fuck do I know? Anyway, so
aha, time for
what
ethics.
my point was that Totillo, even as a journalist, the journalism industry itself as a whole, as a greater whole, is uh deteriorating, and we can all see that. We've got the cable news, the whole 24-hour news cycle bullshit. you know it's put a drain on journalistic quality. You know what I mean? No one's
Mhm.
Dan Rather anymore because it's not 1964. uh and people just want money, and that's the thing. It's all about the paper, and it's really annoying. So
In
um
defense, there are still good investigative journalists and there are
oh,
still good world journalists. It's just we unfortunately don't hear their names until after they're dead. So,
exactly, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yes.
It's like, oh, this person who's been
Michael
doing
Hastings.
really
What?
solid. Yeah.
Well, who was the I can't think of her name at the moment, but she worked for CBS. And she quit CBS because they actively told her not to investigate a certain story. I
Jeez.
forgot. I forgot. I wish I could think of her name right now, but it's kind of that same situation where she wanted to. An actual good investigative journalist who's really good at her job was told by her bosses, "Don't." And the reason why, Bill, because it goes against our political leaning or something of that
Yeah,
nature.
yeah.
And
We've meandered too far. We need to get back on.
well, yeah, I understand that, but it all goes kind of goes to the
It
same
does.
you know
It does.
situation.
Absolutely. People who should know better are crushing journalism under heel in the quest for looking good and click money,
Yeah,
basically, and page views, and that's the problem.
That was Sherelle Atkinson, by the way. She's
that's that's
yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
no problem. But
So
yeah,
yeah.
it's not, and the thing is with, and you were saying, small industries and things like that, and it's not unusual from a person to go to one certain type of thing and into something very similar to that. I mean, even niche retail is very similar to that. But the difference is that if I got fired from working at Pop Goth because I screamed obscenities at a customer, I'm really not going to get hired at Creepers R Us across the hall because they're going to go, oh, well, they got fired for this. Whereas in this situation, somebody got fired or let go or whatever else and got caught being crap and crap at their job and instead got scooped up right away like it was no big deal.
So I gotta say, the only question I have from that is, were those real stores you mentioned?
I they are names that I use when I'm walking around the mall for stores because I don't actually call stores what they're called, but Pop Goth
Oh,
is
okay.
Pop
Because I was like,
Goth.
that would.
Hot topic.
I almost wish those stores
Yes.
were real. That just sounds
Yeah.
hilarious.
She was spot on with Socks was right with Pop Goth is Hot Topic and Creepers R Us is Spencer's. So
Okay.
yeah, there are places
Okay.
I shop on the regular. But that's the thing
So
is or if if you get if you have a bad parting or if you're caught doing something bad at your job, it's usually seen as an oh my god, I need to either go back to school, I need to change industries, I need to do something. It's not, oh well, I'm just gonna slither over here with the other vipers.
hmm
Pretty much. I mean, that's usually how it works. You lose all ability to remain in the industry, and it's really look. I'm not picking because people know. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I like to rip on Ian Miles Chong, right?
Yes.
I like to rip on him really hard. Um, and it's not because of the Nazi thing, it's what he did when he was moderator of Reddit. And he was a moderator of a very popular subreddit, and he actually sold his powers to external publications and websites and companies in exchange for monies so they could put their content on the sub and he would boost it. Anyway, not the point. Uh, it's how he manages to be uh, part of any sort of voice of reason or ethics in online writing and journalism within the games industry is beyond me.
well,
Do you
that's
understand what I mean by that? It's
yeah.
and that was only in 2012. It's not like he did this when he was 14. You know
hmm
what I mean? It was in
before he
2012.
was turned a Nazi by the toxic gaming culture. Got it. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, what happened was I just crawled in his bedroom window every night and whispered in his ear, "Evil, evil, 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 bad Jews, evil, 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 evil." That's what it was. See,
You've been watching too much Adventure Time. Anyway.
I haven't watched too much Adventure Time at all. I haven't watched Adventure Time in months, but that's where the reference is from. So you
I
at least
know.
that good.
Flame King. Anyway.
You wise. Yeah, you wise man.
But yeah, so that kind of perpetuating the careers of these people who really have no business having platforms because of their actions.
Well, the
It's
question I have
frustrating.
is, especially concerning Chong, because I never got a clear answer. Is GamerRanks like his site, or is he just the EIC of that site?
I think it's just the EIC.
Because I know, I mean, it's kind of like that thing. It's like, well, if it's his site, I mean, I guess he
If
can
it's
kind
just
of
like,
do
yeah,
whatever.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so
But
he can do whatever the hell he wants, but it doesn't mean I have to go there.
no,
If he's just a corrupt EIC, then well, and then the owner it must be a dumbass too, because it's like, hey, I heard this guy who I know is corrupt, so
yeah.
so
I will look into it and I'll find out if it's his site or not. But
ladies,
I was fairly certain that he's just the EIC.
ladies and gentlemen, you are now witnessing the investigative wing of our podcast.
Dun,
Anyway,
dun,
you guys keep
dun.
going.
It is more than just me Googling while we're on air.
Yes. Some of us actually have contacts.
We will break the story. Action, adventure, excitement, desire.
Crave none of these. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
So I think that our next is going to be looking into the future of computing with Intel. Um, Now, Intel is a wonderfully diverse company. I mean, if you look at even their leadership structure, they are very progressive and forward thinking. So,
Absolutely.
yay Intel for walking the walk. Boo Intel for not knowing who you're getting in bed with.
Mm.
Um, I feel like somebody there was like, we really made people angry with this whole Gamma Sutra thing. What can we do to make it better? Let's make a even bigger boo boo. I can't. I just. Mm.
Well, here's the thing. Let's make an even bigger boo boo and throw money at it.
I
That's,
mean, how many
no.
videos is Anita going to make for them for that amount of money?
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. I'm kind of with a friend of ours on this one. I really think that this might be almost like a muzzle for her, and there's a good chance she probably doesn't even care because she's like, money, okay.
Yeah, but
But
it also
it's
puts her. It's gonna in the public eye. We'll put her
exactly
on a leash.
exactly, which is
And
why it's a bit of a muzzle.
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it's not like we all the four of us know who steers that conversation and that in feminist frequency, and it's not Anita. So that's not the one that people should be looking at anyway. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is not just the thing is it's not just feminist frequency it's the IGDA. It's what was all the list?
It is IGDA, the Esports League, the National Center for Women in Technology, the Cyber Smile Foundation, the Feminist Frequency, like they put the in front of everything, which is really cute in this article, and
Mhm.
Rainbow Push. Now, that is just a bucket. I don't know the Esports League or anything about them.
Well, even there, I have an issue. But go ahead with what you're going to say.
But that's all a big bucket of yuck.
Hmm.
Now, on the other hand, things that Intel is doing right with this is the company also plans to more actively support primary education programs focused on undeserved areas and expanding its collaboration with college computer science and engineering programs, which is wonderful because Intel doing direct funding towards education is great, and getting good quality computers accessible to kids younger is is great and a wonderful thing. Who they're
Hmm.
partnering with is pretty dreadful. PC Mag, of course, is always a little presumptuous in how it deals with things, because it even says that the diversity announcement comes in light of recent events like Gamergate. Um, and I guess Microsoft CEO kind of put their foot in their mouth in reference to women asking for raises. Now, traditionally, women are less likely to ask for raises than men. Men are, and this is, I'm not going to even get into gender issues or anything like that with it, but in the workplace, men are more likely to ask for raises than women. Does that mean they're more likely to get them? Not necessarily, because that employee that's going, hey, can I get 5 more cents? Hey, can I get 5 more cents? You get sort of sick of them. But she said in a speech at a women's conference that women should rely on karma instead of asking for raises, and that caused a bit of a, thing. But PC
Yeah.
Mag lays this squarely on our feet with the Gamergate thing. And even their article that they link as a jump to from this article is everything you never wanted to know about Gamergate, and it has a trigger warning on it. So there's that. And this is the source that I'm using on this Intel nonsense. But yeah,
So
it's
I will
warning if
have
you
you know your desire for ethics triggers me.
yes, yes. But so
because
we
I'm
have
sure that's exactly what they said in that article.
yeah, so we have
That's
the IGDA, um, who
well, let's be let's just kind of put that card on out there with the IGDA. They've kind of shown that they have a problem with incestuous relationships as well. So
they do. And the thing that's so heartbreaking is that they're an organization that again does do some good things. Kate Edwards is a toxic witch, and she's been in charge since December of 2012. And yes, I mean, they've had Ernest Adams is crazy. I mean, we all saw on Twitter when he openly was saying, woohoo, let's blacklist everybody. And he is the founder of the IGDA. Kate is, she happily uses Randy Harper's block list. She posted up onto the IGDA site without any thought, without checking with other people within the organization. She just took it upon herself to decide this is the bestest thing ever. Um, so she's a problem. I mean, she is um, above and beyond an issue. I also just learned from Wiki that the association, as of July 2014, has been working with the FBI to deal with online harassment of developers. And that Kate says that she was actually approached by the Bureau at San Diego Comic Con, because that's a normal place for the FBI to start having conversations with people. Um, but yeah, Kate is very much super social justice, super feminist clicks. She's just icky. She's really icky. She's strange to hear talk. If you can look at any of the speeches that she does, she's a strange and weird woman. So now Intel is in bed with her. Because it's hard, you can't separate the IGDA from what Kate is and what Kate does to it.
Hmm.
And then we have, let's see, who are the other folks that we have on there? Sorry, I have so many tabs open. Um, Esports League. I don't know anything about Esports League. I don't know what that is. I don't do
That's your
esports.
turn, Wayne.
yeah, why? That's going to be my big takeaway from that. The thing is to bring about diversity and all that stuff. Has anybody watched an esports tournament?
I didn't know there were esports tournaments.
Oh yeah, I
So,
mean
Yeah, I've watched
Yes.
some StarCraft shit,
TS,
so
pretty sure
yeah.
TSN's played the World Tetris Championships before and other
yeah,
things. And
but
Jesus, like
especially StarCraft,
League of Legends, freaking
League
Dota
of
2. Oh
Legends,
God, yeah,
Dota.
there's massive leagues.
Um,
StarCraft, come on,
yeah,
the classic.
StarCraft. I mean, I think now
StarCraft 2 for sure.
once Heroes of the Storm is going to be big when that
Here's
one
gonna he's
is.
massive. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look forward to playing that and just seeing
And
what it's like.
I mean, I'm trying to think of some other good ones. I mean, get down to it. The FGC is technically esports. fighting
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So Evo.
Basically.
Come on.
That's the thing is though is that the fighting game community is already an extremely diverse community. So when I heard esports, I was thinking people playing Madden online or something together. I have
Oh
no
no,
idea.
no, 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 no,
Oh
no.
yeah, yeah.
So
There
Yeah,
is, there is
just
no.
tune
I
in.
don't think there's any league for that.
Tune in to StarCraft tournament one time and see how diverse that is. It is. I mean, you got people like, well, I mean, good lord, Koreans.
Dude,
You- they-
Koreans play the really good ones play StarCraft like they're writing an essay. It's just typing. It's like, what?
Yeah, and
It's sorcery.
and
It is sorcery.
Yeah, it is, and it's like I mean, when you're witnessing it, it's like a thing of beauty.
It's
You're just like,
amazing.
there's no way somebody can play StarCraft like this.
No,
And then you
it's-
see it,
it's-
and you're like, wow, they can. So
It's
So, yeah,
astounding.
I don't see the need to. What is diversity in that? I mean, there are plenty, and I want to say plenty. I don't want to put words in my mouth, but I know there are women who participate in that.
well, if we're
And-
including the fighting game community, absolutely.
Oh yeah, if we were going to include FGC, then definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the thing. I
Well-
said that kind of. Go ahead.
No, the problem is that the right kinds of diversity and minorities aren't involved. So these people are losing their minds.
Hmm.
That's what the problem is. There aren't enough annoying white girls playing, apparently.
I should
And
get
I'm
to
like,
be more
huh.
annoying. I'm sorry. I'll do
Oh, yeah.
better.
Right? And that's
Okay.
So
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm cranky.
that's okay.
Uh,
So I looked up CyberSmile. I'm gonna skip the National Center for Women in Information and Technology because I really do categorize them in the good. I am really fond of the outreach that they've done in homeless youth outreach centers and things like that. So I'm not going to categorize them in with the bad guys, but in the Cyber Smile Foundation, I went to their website. Don't do that. Save your eyes. It's hideous. So hopefully Intel will help them make a better looking site. I think it's supposed to be catchy to people my daughter's age. I think she would probably vomit on the screen. Their example of diversity is we have the boys from One Direction in a little banner with outlineys, and then we have white boy, white girl, slightly darker skinned white boy. So I'm not even sure what CyberSmile does. I clicked on their What We Do tab and it hurts me. They help with cyberbullying youth advisory council. Kids can't rule the world, but they can change it. It seems like it all has to do with cyberbullying, but I'm fairly certain that the kids listening to One Direction and everything else, that's diversity? Okay, sure, cool.
Didn't you know white British boys singing songs to white girls is the most diverse thing you can do, Remy?
I didn't know. Now I know, and knowing
Yeah, well,
is half
knowing's
the
half the battle. G.I. Joe and all that. Okay. So yeah.
So then
Don't
we
go to that website.
have feminist frequency. Hey man, when you Google feminist frequency, the top news story is about sex worker parodies Gamergate feminist.
Yeah. Good job.
Yes, thank you,
Good
Princess
job,
Cora.
Princess Cora. I'm clapping
Yep.
for you. Good job, boob frequency. I'm a fan of you.
That's awesome. I'm going to be interviewing her about BDSM. So
It's gonna be
then-
delightful. Everyone go watch that. It's gonna be great. And also, that's wonderful.
And
Okay.
BDSM is fun stuff. Okay, so and then finally we have. I mean, we don't need to talk about feminist frequency because we all know it's Anita, it's Josh McJosh. We know.
Josh McIntosh, yes.
Yeah. And then we have.
My name's not Josh, hombre.
We have Rainbow Push, which is we have to be careful with what we say because Jesse Jackson will come after us. It is a nonprofit organization formed as a merger of two nonprofit organizations founded by Jesse Jackson, which was Operation Push and the National Rainbow Coalition. The organizations pursue social justice, civil rights, and political activism. I think it's safest with this one to just not say stuff and to tell people to Google it. Probably.
No, I'll say something because I don't
Okay,
care.
you go. You do you. I can't. I'll get myself in trouble.
No, 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 no. My whole point about that is not. I don't have to really say much about the situation with it being Rainbow Push to the effect of you basically read what their mission statement is and what does that have to do with STEM and technology. What I'm saying is these so far the ones that they've listed, except maybe the esports one, all they do is scream about there's no diversity and don't do anything about it. Yeah.
Which is
So
why National Center for Women in Information and Technology, super awesome, super love them. I know the Youth Outreach Center that really saved my life when I was in my late teens. They've actually put in computers there for the kids to use, not just the girls. Boys are allowed to touch them too. Um, and actually do direct outreach and collegiate awards and all sorts of good stuff. So in the pile of poop, there's a good right there. Um, and then there's a pile of poop like
yeah, well,
around it.
you found one diamond in an encrusted horse poop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so
I don't, and this is the thing. I don't know if anybody pays too much attention to Renee James, who is the president of Intel, but she's awesome. She is exactly what feminist I feel like real feminist, she's what they're talking about because she has her career. She's very passionate about her career. She doesn't let people tell her, oh, you need to be a mom and be this and be this and be that other thing. She's like, this is what I do. This is who I am. And I'm just trying to imagine her in a meeting with Kate Edwards. And it makes me happy because I think that Renee would make her cry. Um, but yeah, I have a hard time fitting her in the box with these other organizations. It's like she doesn't fit social justice. She's just a strong woman. She's not a strong woman who needs other people to prop her up to make her that.
right. Well, it's kind of I think Socks and I are on the same page with our ideas of what this $300 million could be used for, and I think that a scholarship program would be a good start. And how they would say, well, Optimus, how would you go about doing it? I say, well, there are women, there are women's colleges, there are there are traditionally black colleges in the United States. There's a good way to start. I know that they spoke about like getting trying to get programmers from other countries like in outreach to Afghanistan. That's a great idea. What I'm saying is like every bit of that $300 million could be put to a good use to get people to get diversity in the workforce, to get what you want through education and not giving it to hustlers. You know?
Agreed.
That's
Hmm.
basically it. That's how I feel. There are so many other initiatives that money could be used for. And while I am like super happy Intel wants to do stuff to try and help accelerate the growth of diversity in the technology industry, it seems very Americentric, and it. I feel like they're misdirecting their energies and funds. I honestly think that there are things they could do on a global level, and yeah, it feels hollow. That's all.
Hmm. Hollow, I think, is the best word to describe this. It doesn't
Somebody in the
feel
chat is
okay.
saying that Intel didn't say they were giving the money to any of those cons. Actually, Intel did. I was reading off Intel's newsroom, so it's at this point I think it's a given that is Intel is
And,
giving money to those
I will
cons.
read it. I will read it. Intel also plans to invest $300 billion to help build a pipeline of female and underrepresented engineers and computer scientists to actively support hiring and retaining more women and underrepresented minorities, and to fund programs and support positive representation within the technology and gaming industry. And in that, Intel plans to engage with several partners in the industry to support, enhance, and create new programs for the initiative, including the International Game Developer Association, the Esports League, the National Center for Women in Technology, the Cybersmile Foundation, The Feminist Frequency, like you said, and Rainbow Push. The company also plans to deepen its engagement with primary education programs focused on undeserved areas and expanding its collaboration with computer science and engineering programs at higher education institutions, including minority serving institutions. That's good. It's the stuff in the middle that they where I feel that they're initiating a big screw up. And if you I'm going to put it this way. None of these people are going to be doing what Intel does out of the goodness of their heart. There will be money exchanged.
Of course. Of course.
So-
They're hoping there's enough to be gained.
So yeah,
Sorry. Yeah. Look, while it doesn't explicitly state that they would be giving money to any of these organizations, I don't know. I just, yeah. Like I said,
This-
Intel's
the
doing a
whole-
good thing. It's just that those groups, man, there are better options.
Yes.
I mean,
and
they-
Intel is a big enough company where they could set up their own council essentially,
but
and they don't need any of these partners. Pretty much.
it's about
This
this I feel is very strongly is about image. That's what this is. This is an attempt to basically reach out and sort of improve their image. I really think this is them falling back on that they felt like they alienated part of their audience and they're trying to get it back by showing this initiative and trying to do it in a way that does not overtly offend anybody. And to be frank, I'm not offended by what Intel's doing in the slightest. I don't care. They can work with Friend Frequency all they want. I don't like her work. And even
lack
if she
thereof.
continues to do work, I don't care all too much. But yeah, that is fine. That is fine. But this doesn't feel like it's a real effort. This feels more a token, if you will. That's kind of the impression I get. It's giving money to the established organizations to try and improve their image and doing it in a way that doesn't look too bad. That's what I think.
yeah, I mean, the other bits and pieces, encouraging uptake of STEM and other. Sorry, my brain's fried, so I'm like, but helping build a pipeline of underrepresented engineers and computer scientists. That does sound like, scholarship area. That sounds like they're gonna go that kind of route. But there are also other little things that they should consider doing. I'm offering ideas now. I'm not, I don't care anymore. Just, go in there and say, hey, kids, you know what's awesome? Computers. And then get 5-year-olds addicted to technology.
Video
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. Like turn 5-year-olds into little geeky computer scientist nerds. That's all you need to do. Just go into a bunch of kindergartens and just be like, "This is a video card. This is how you install it," and then teach them how to code in Unity. The end.
By the way, Socks, I would like to point out that in my mind you're Snow White because I can hear birds in the background and I picture them lighting on your hands while you're talking and you're sort of dancing about. Yeah, sorry.
I'm a psychotic, deranged Disney princess. That's exactly what's going on here.
Excellent. I love it. Do we want to, since we're 40 minutes in, do we want to go on to more serious topics now?
Oh, because that wasn't. But yeah.
Well, the
Oh, even
yeah.
more serious. Yeah.
Yeah, even more serious. I am gonna say ahead of time because I know I have friends that listen to this. I've been the entire show trying to find a news piece that expressed really how I feel about this, and I'm gonna let everybody else talk first, but I want to just say ahead of time that none of this is meant in disrespect, and none of this is meant as assuming that everybody of the Muslim faith is an extremist or would have reacted in such a way, or even not all of us have the same views on what was published and what was printed. So we'll start with that, and then I'll read my last bit at the end after everybody else talks. So
Okay. So what we're going to talk about now is the same thing I think pretty much everyone on Twitter has really been talking about for the past couple days. And that would be the very tragic and horrible shooting in Paris that happened there, where 3 armed individuals, two of them brothers, one of them a younger one, 18, the brothers being in their 30s, went into the offices of Charlie Hebdo in Paris. I hope I'm saying that right. And proceeded to open fire on all the staff there. It's now reported that about 13 people have died, including at least 2 police officers. One of important fact, well, not super important, but I think something that should be remembered is one of the officers killed, in fact, the one executed in the video recorded, was himself a Muslim. So there's that too. But the reason this happened, and we know the shooters were in fact Muslim and extremists, because they shouted Allahu Akbar right before they went in. They then said as they left in French, because everyone else could hear it and understood it, that the Prophet had been avenged when they did, and they drove off. They left behind, one of them left behind their ID, another left behind a shoe, I believe, and this is how they were able to be caught and tracked. And there are other suspects arrested in believing to have helped them carry out this thing. And the reason they did it, as I'm sure all of you know, is because Charlie Hebdo had been a magazine that was not shy from being critical, not of Islam, not of any faith, not of any religion, not of any person. They have always been more than happy to mock in sometimes crass, and sometimes crude, and sometimes clever ways anybody they want to. But it was their depictions and drawings of Muhammad, and the fact that they would respond to outrage over those with even more graphic and crass drawings of the Prophet Muhammad, rather than cow down to people who would use intimidation and fear to try and get that because their feelings were hurt. This was a horrible, horrible thing that happened. There is no bones about this. This incident infuriates me to no end. And the fact that a lot of the media, including some of the biggest organizations out there, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, refused to show the offensive comics makes me even angrier. WikiLeaks sent out a series of 4 tweets. Well, they were going to do 4. I think they only did 3 yesterday, that I firmly believe. And it's that if you do not retweet or share these images, you don't deserve to use the tag "Je suis Charlie," which was the name or the tag used to show solidarity. And there have been a few people, and this annoys me too, there have been a few people who said we can express sorrow over this and also find the comics detestable. Of course you can. I don't like a lot of their comics. I found a lot of the comics a little distasteful, and I probably wouldn't have drawn them. But guess what? That's all the more reason why I should stand up for that. We should stand up for that. Because it's not the free speech you like that needs defending. It's the free speech you don't. Always. Always. And if you're not willing to put your toe on the line and support the free speech that you don't like, then you don't support free speech. I'm sorry, you don't. So stand by your convictions, stand up for free speech, or don't. I don't care. But do not try and bash people for using the tag "Je suis Charlie," because they genuinely do value free speech, and they're consistent in their records of being in favor of free speech. If they're being hypocrites, say, for example, like some of the people who are, again, anti-Gamergate are being hypocrites and going out of their way to say, oh, censorship is bad, but more than happy to try and censor and change games or get coverage or anything else, they have no right to use that tag. Okay, I'll pass it off to someone else.
I was gonna go
Okay.
last. There's two other folks to go.
No,
Socks
no, yeah,
next.
I'll chime in here. Um, as a humorist, as a satirist, and as a writer, I am absolutely horrified at what has happened, basically. That but this has been happening for years. I'm sorry. It's hard to express this uh fully. If you remember with Salman Rushdie, um the fatwa that he had on his head for his essays and uh book.
Mhm.
Um so this happens, and it's horrifyingly terrible, you know. And the thing I think that immediately after that Je suis Charlie Twitter tag, it irritated me because I saw people using it who really don't stand for what they did. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, you're not Charlie, because a lot of you don't have that courage, do not have that conviction, do not have that dedication to say and do what the folks who died in the offices of Charlie Hebdo did. You know what I mean? It feels hypocritical when I see people tweeting that. Sorry, it's upsetting. um,
It is.
it,
It's
it
extremely
it's
upsetting.
it's really upsetting. It feels like people are using the deaths to try and justify their own stances. It's like, oh, hey, I'm all for free speech. They shouldn't have been killed for that, or and they shouldn't. They shouldn't have been killed. People, radicals and extremists from any walk of life are dangerous. That's why we have those labels for them, you know? Radicalism and extremism in any ideology, any faith, anything is stupid. It's ridiculously fucking stupid. And this is what happens when someone says something, someone lampoons something. These people honestly and seriously and truly believe that words are an act of war.
And to answer some of your questions, there was earlier stuff going on. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was a couple countries, actually Muslim countries, actually withdrew their embassies from France years ago because these cartoons.
Yeah.
That's
But
it's amazing
you did
sometimes.
say, and this is the thing, and you, countries that do have religious law, and there are countries in the world that have religious law. Um, when a country has religious law, they have to honor that law, and we might not agree with it, and we would never want to live in those countries, but they do follow those laws, and by their laws, they cannot associate with and cannot take part in that happening. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that it makes sense that they would pull their embassies because that is something that their law does not allow. Um, and so, right or wrong, the embassy is pulling out. That made sense, and I'm sure anybody on a global scale and working in global politics would say yes, that is definitely an inevitable outcome of this kind of thing being published. Um, it's I actually just pulled up. There's a site, it's called cpj.org. It is the Committee to Protect Journalists. In 2014, there were 61 journalists killed, with motives confirmed. If there were considered to be, they were killed because they were journalists, not because they were a person in a situation. Um, and the article that I found that I felt the most comfortable with, because again, this is a really hard topic for me because I have a lot of empathy for religious law. I understand the comforts and the reasons that it's in place in certain situations and what it means to people. I've held a friend when she cried because of things that were published, and images that were published mocking her faith, and watched what it did to her. Um, and I understand that all things should be challenged and religion should be challenged, but it's hard because it does cut people so deeply. And she would never hurt anybody, but it hurt her for that to happen because her convictions are so deeply ingrained in her. But there's this wonderful article on the Irish Times. It's written by Patrick Smith. Um, and it's Just Sweet Charlie. Journalists must defend freedom of expression. The appalling massacre at Charlie, is it Hebdo? I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. I have a bad French accent. Promises to make 2015 yet more deadly for journalists. And he goes in, he quotes John Milton, he quotes George Orwell. Give me the liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience above all liberties. And it says the uncomfortable reality is that defending freedom of speech inevitably involves defending the right to promote often what is perceived as unpleasant, wrong, and offensive speech. Um, and it's a really wonderful article. I'll post it up, the link for it for you guys. But the thing is, nobody should die for religion. Nobody should die for people just shouldn't die by violent means. But one thing that comes up in the comment section here is, where does knowing the world is what it is, and having an ideology and saying yes, journalists should be able to publish and satirists should be able to publish what they want to publish, where does that level of protection come? If these threats were coming in, or if they knew that this was possibly going to happen, obviously the person doing the killing is 100% responsible for what happened. But there's also, how do we keep these journalists safe? How do we not protect them from themselves, but how do we protect what they do without then turning around and doing what a lot of social justice warriors do and worrying about thought crime and things like that. It's a really hard balance, and it's a really uncomfortable and murky place. It's and there's no, I can't think of any right answers for it. I can't think of any right, because you can't just say publish what you want, put what information you want out there, because you know that these extremists exist. So I just don't know. I don't know what the right answers in there are for people.
I don't
There
think there
is
is really a right
there is not.
answer.
There is no right answer for that.
Well,
I mean,
It is always a balancing act. I I will say that I think Charlie Hebdo did the probably the best thing I think they could for the most part, which was not hate one thing or target, or not, I shouldn't say hate, not satirize one thing, but satirize everything, which I think is by far a fantastic tactic, because then it helps appease. I think it helps appease a lot of people. There are obviously those that will never ever forgive you for satirizing anything of theirs or any of their personal beliefs. But I think a lot of people are more forgiving if it's your job to make fun of everything, no exceptions. I think there is a level of, okay, so it's not just me, it's every, okay. And there seems to be a degree of comfort in that. But there is no clear-cut answer, but no, I will proudly remember these people. Happily remember their right to freedom of speech and expression. And I love how so many people, especially cartoonists, have come together on this one and sent images of what's one of my favorite ones is two pencils sticking into the sky and a plane flying into it, or trying to fly into them. And it's just all of it is supposed to be about solidarity as satirists, cartoonists, writers, entertainers, comedians, just expressing solidarity with Charlie Hebdo and the victims and remorse. And I hope we can always maintain satire and always maintain comedy, and including some of the darkest things, including some of the worst things, because I think comedy is what and satire is what will heal and what will make things able to be talked about, what will allow us to move forward as society. Because I think if you can make fun of anything, you can begin to really make a lot of things feel ridiculous to the point where they don't continue. Not necessarily religion here, but we're talking other things. I'm a firm believer that rape jokes and offensive jokes like that are essential, because I think if you can make it to the point where it's not the act, but the people who commit them should be treated as jokes and relegated to the brunt of humor rather than any serious threat, and just ridiculed and shamed to the point where there doesn't happen, then I think that's a good thing. And this is just another example. If we can make and one of my favorite comics from this was someone saying, we know what hurts them, we know what gets at these people, it's making fun of them. So the answer is not to bow down to them. The answer is be louder.
And not just making fun. I mean, if you look at the deadliest countries for journalists last year, Syria, 17 journalists were killed in Syria. Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, there were 4 journalists killed. Somalia, 4. Pakistan, 3. Afghanistan, 3. Journalists are a viable target for extremists. If you look at
Yep.
any of the ISIS videos, those men, they're journalists, they're writers, they're photojournalists, and they're the people who are capturing war and exposing atrocities and doing
Yes.
what journalists should do. And women, I shouldn't. We lost a lot of really amazing female journalists last year as well. We lost them and it's not just Muslim jihadists. In the Ukraine, we lost 5 journalists because people were trying to cover up what was going on. And journalists used to be almost protected. They could go into wars. I mean, even in Vietnam, the Viet Cong would invite journalists back to their camps with
Because
them
they
and treat
wanted
them,
press. They
yeah, and
wanted
would
press.
treat them like celebrities. And now it's become normal to want to silence them. So it's not just satirists, but it's our people who spread information and spread truth that have huge targets painted on them. And it's just a scary world that we live in, that people who spread information are so likely to lose their lives for doing it.
Yes. And there is one other journalist we've lost. I can't remember if it was in 2014 or if it was just before then. But his name, he wasn't murdered. He was in a terrible car accident at 4 in the morning and died. His name was Michael Hastings. He is one of the journalists who broke an important story. It was more of a local American kind of story, because it was about conduct, and I think it was Iraq, and certain conducts with the U.S. military in there. And he quoted a general exactly as he stated he would. And he stated he would, but people thought he was joking. But he was someone who did not pull punches and who was willing to stand up for truth as well. And so I just wanted to mention him because I think he deserves credit too, and deserves some.
Absolutely, and
appreciation.
honestly, a lot of people don't necessarily think that Michael died in a car crash. So there's that.
There are those people who speculate, but yeah.
But yeah, it's a scary world for journalists, and I think that 2015 is just going to become that much more of a scary world for them. So while we're talking about ethics in journalism and everything else, remember that there are really, really phenomenal journalism people
Yes.
out there, and that, we talk about journalism, we talk about corruption, we talk about all of these things, and we say there's a wide blanket, and there is a lot of bad in the industry, but there are these amazing people who completely risk their lives just to tell other stories. So for as much as there's bad, there's these really phenomenal folks as well.
And um, I really I want. It's hard to say because I'm sure a lot of our viewers are in fact older and employed already, but we need more journalists. And I'm not saying because we lost a fair number. No, I mean the journalism overall has been especially televised in print and even online journalism has been a dying field um, because of certain things. But the journalists who are willing to stand up and tell the truth and go to dangerous places, those guys are freaking heroes. Um, and we need more of them. So if any of you have thought of being a journalist and pursuing truth, please do it. Like, because you are the first line in fixing this in fixing journalism and media. The future of the truth and reporting really rests on the shoulders of the up and coming journalists. I think it's and what happens now, what we let happen now, into both internationally and within various media outlets, is what will decide what happens to journalism and media. Do you cow down to fear and just become a tabloid journalist and someone who doesn't bother to do their own work and leave their own home because that requires effort in actually being a journalist? Or are you going to get out in the field and are you going to report on the truth? Are you going to risk life and limb to be willing to let people know what's happening? The choice is up to you, but we really need more of you guys badly. You need to save the truth, and some of you guys are. And if you guys know anyone who's a journalist who's in journalist training, please tell them that they're the hope for saving truth. Please, like, we need more.
Yeah. Please don't have your goal to be to write for one of these online rags.
Yeah, these people don't do.
Don't
These
don't
online rags
perpetuate
don't do
that.
work. They don't do anything. They do no work. They do no investigation.
They add
They
no
they
value to anything.
This is why they link to each other, because they're too fucking lazy to get their own stories and their own scoops. They're too lazy to get their own sources, to go and talk to people, to actually ask questions.
Can I
They're
tell a really embarrassing story about a print newspaper that I
Sure.
have to sell every day at my store? So the Buffalo News is a joke that is published daily in the Buffalo area. And people have 1,001 issues with it. Oh, it's too liberal. Oh, it's too conservative. It's too. Buffalo's a very divisive area when it comes to politics. But for 5 days in a row, I picked up the Buffalo News just to kind of test myself and test the waters. The headline was a copy paste of an op ed piece from the Washington Post on day one. So they took something from the op ed piece, op ed section of the Washington Post, word for word, and put it in as their headline, their front page news piece. Day two, it was from USA Today from the day prior, and I still had that USA Today right below it. Um, so even our print papers are copying and pasting from each other. It was a disgusting wake up call. I was just like, I can't.
Oh,
Ah.
Yeah, that's been happening here in Australia for a long time. Australian journalism. See, this is nothing new for me. You know, I've been dealing with a rapidly declining and rapidly degenerating journalist industry here in Australia for at least the last 15 years. Um, I mean, and part of it is because nearly every single one of our newspapers is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Um, so that's how that goes here. Um, I think the yeah, I'm just gonna shut up because it's gonna turn into like a 40-minute rant on why I hate uh
Murdoch.
fucking Rupert Murdoch exactly.
Should we move on to tabloid hit pieces against children? Would that be just to lighten the
Yeah,
mood a little bit?
Yes,
let's do that.
from an example of
Um,
from a shining example of reporting and freedom of expression. Let's go to scum and
Yeah.
terrible journalism again.
well, can I make one? Because I kind of kept
Go
quiet
ahead.
during that.
You
Y'all,
did.
y'all were
Right
all
ahead.
making excellent points, and I didn't want to interrupt you. Um, I The biggest thing I'd want to say is what we witnessed is the dangers of radicalization.
Mhm.
And, and I understand, as somebody being a person of faith, and I can denounce, the crazies in my religion. I mean, you will never find me standing up with the, Westboro Baptist Church, but unfortunately, they have a right to say what they want to say.
Yes.
It's when anybody gets to the point where they think they have to kill somebody to make their point is when it becomes dangerous, and that's when radicalization goes too far. Um, that's why um, that is, unfortunately, when that break point happens, it's almost too late. You were saying earlier about how do we protect these journalists and whatnot. There are many journalists, the ones who go to war zones, like you were saying, that go and like you said, to the Ukraine and to Jerusalem, to the West Bank and Gaza, at Iraq and Iran and all those places. They know what they're doing. They know they're putting their lives on the line because any second they could be snapped up. you know and I applaud them, and give them all, because they're, here in the US, there was a reason why the First Amendment, talked about freedom of speech and freedom in the press in the same amendment, because it's that important. Those two,
Yes.
they're intertwined together. You can't have one without the other. You have to have a free press, you know. And oh yeah, and guess, yes, this is something I had a discussion with on Twitter, yesterday. If somebody says something incredibly stupid, you have a right to call them stupid, just as
Yes.
they have the right to say something stupid. It's when you say take it down is when you have stepped over your bound.
Yes.
You can call something stupid, but you have no right to tell somebody they need to take it down because of your feelings. That's not how that works. You have a right to be offended. You don't have a right to tell somebody to do what you want them to do, because then you're stepping on their on a basic human right at that point.
Yes. Now, I
So
guess there is one last thing I should mention, because while we're on the subject, before we segue, sorry. There was an interesting tweet I saw. It was a retweet from the TYT network. I can't remember who the initial person was, but they had asked the question: if it hadn't been Charlie Hebdo, sorry, but it had been a person who wrote, a KKK member who wrote for some white supremacist paper, who had been murdered, would you share their images all over the internet? And that's a good question. I think it's something to ask. It's something to, and I don't think it's necessarily an easy one, but I would probably, yes. Not because I support them. I can put quite clear in the caveat, I do not support these views. These are not my views. I do not condone this view. This is abhorrent to me. But so is taking someone's life for views like this.
Right.
Now it gets tricky because you get into territories of like, what if you're screaming death to all these people constantly and you are writing that all these people need to die and stuff. Then you maybe contact local authorities and ask them to maybe keep an eye on this person if at all possible. But you don't take away their right to speak. Because
it's like they have
that would definitely push them probably to the point of being violent. If they weren't getting violent before, you telling them they don't have they don't get to say that anymore, is probably going to do it.
Right. That's where I talk about where you get to that point of radicalization. And that's where to bring this all around to all things that we all consider with our with ethics and with the freedom of speech and things like that. There were some prominent names. I won't have to name them here. Most people are watching, listening to this know. Was the call for the people who are pro ethics on our side and pro consumer and things like that we needed to quote unquote radicalize. And I was vehemently against that idea, because when you get to that point, you become what you hate. And I will not step that bound. I can't. Not in my good conscience. So anyway.
I love you guys. I was very nervous about this, so I'm glad that this went the way that it did. I was nervous. So on to touching poop, I guess would be the next little bit. Poop touching. Okay, so again, I work at a pharmacy in a medium-sized town, so we have tons of tabloid celebrity stalkery magazines, and they're shiny and they often have boobs on them, so I'm drawn.
Boobs, you say? I am suddenly very interested. What?
I see boobs and I see shiny things, and they have the workout magazines and all of that, but one of the ones that usually has like schlock on the cover every week is Star Magazine, and it gets shelved right at the front because it's a big seller. It's fairly inexpensive. And their title piece this week is Suri Cruise and Shiloh Jolie Pitt, Inside Their Bizarre Worlds. Now, both of these little girls are 8 years old. They're babies. They're younger than my daughter. They are obviously in the public eye because Suri is Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise's daughter. They also spelled cruise wrong on their website. That makes me really happy. So not only did they do a hit piece on 8-year-olds, but they
can't even fucking spell a name.
Cruise properly. Now the thing that's just baffling beyond anything, the piece that's on their website is short because they want you to go and read the magazine. And if you read the website, it's a little creepy because they're talking about children, but it's not that bad. When you read the actual print magazine, they go into the fact that, for instance, Suri still plays with dolls. An 8-year-old plays with dolls. She likes to wear pink, and she thinks that her mommy is the coolest. And they write it as if this is this horrible, toxic thing. It's recently come out that Shiloh wants to be called John. Brad said that she really adores Peter Pan. They've avoided using the term trans when talking about John, but that John won't answer unless you say John. If you say Shiloh, there's no response from the child, or Shiloh will correct you and say, no, my name is John. And this magazine is she's got this bizarre identity as a little boy, and her parents are indulging it, and isn't this bizarre, and isn't this creepy and weird? Talking about 8-year-olds.
The person who wrote this obviously has never, ever, ever had a child. Okay? Sorry.
Wait.
Neither have I. And
wait. So you're telling me, Socks, that it's very possible that somebody wrote an article that they have no idea what they're talking about in the subject matter?
Yeah, and they're talking out of their ass just to
But
sensationalize. And
I'm shocked.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. The the poor little girls, all right, the poor babies, all right. It's just like Remy said, they're little babies, they're little girls, man. Like they're children, and oh goodness. Okay, I'm the eldest of 6 kids. I'm 29. My little sister, who is the youngest, is 13. Okay, so there's a huge age gap. And in between my sister and I, there are our 4 brothers. Okay? Now, when you have siblings of the opposite gender, right, especially older siblings, the youngest or the younglings, they want to emulate their older siblings. I remember my one of my brothers went through this thing where he thought I was the coolest person in the world. All right? He was
thought,
like
you mean you are, duh.
he was like 6 or 7 and I was like 15, and he would have to he would climb into my bed in the middle of the night. He's like, I love you, Rena. And he he would steal my shirts.
Jaw setters to
Yeah.
stun.
Anyway, so but he emulated a lot of what I did, right? And my little sister did that with our brothers as well. Kids do that. And Shiloh, or John, sorry, has what, like 5 older brothers? She has 5 brothers.
And
Okay?
that's exactly what they say, is that Angelina has said in interviews that she likes to dress like a boy. She wants to be a boy. We had to cut her hair. She likes to wear the boys' everything. She thinks she's one of the brothers.
Yeah.
Um, it just makes sense, and it's not something to attack the child over. I'm actually reading The Inquisitor now, which is um, a gay leaning um, site. Not they don't exclusively report on gay news, but and even their piece is much more empathetic, and that even if John isn't transgender, this is a child, and it's a child exploring and figuring out who they are.
Yeah,
Um,
that's totally normal though. It is completely 100% normal, and shame on Star Magazine for trying to make it sound like some sort of bizarre celebrity fucking family cult bullshit. Fuck them.
Well, I just couldn't believe the. So my daughter was more of a girly girl when she was smaller. And she loved dolls. I mean, not all dolls. She had a particular doll that she was very, very fond of. And she's 14 now. We went to American Girls doll store on summer break at 14 because that's what we do. That's our mommy daughter bonding time. And the fact that they're attacking, Suri because she likes dolls, she's 8. Like, what should an 8-year-old be playing with exactly if she's
I know,
not going to be
right?
playing with dolls? And she
Like,
looks up to her mom. The horror. Like,
I
how dare
know.
she?
She's an 8-year-old and she's basically an only child the way she's being raised.
Hmm.
You know, her 2 adoptive siblings, she doesn't see them often. She's with her mother a lot of the time. You know, what's the kid gonna do? You know, of course she thinks her mum is the coolest. Of course she, plays with dolls. Jesus Christ, man. I'm 29. I still have porcelain dolls and shit.
You better watch it.
And I'm like,
Star's gonna come after you. They're gonna write a nasty
holy
hit
crap.
piece.
They're gonna,
Did you hear
thank
that,
fuck my
Socks chick?
dad's not Tom
She
Cruise.
plays with has dolls. What a weirdo.
I use
What?
a Nindoroid as a microphone stand. I use a box. Nindoroid came in as a fucking mic stand. Okay? So, bitch, I got dollies. You wanna play? Let's go.
Let's go. Fine, bring it. And we'll just bust out dolls and start playing and having tea. That's all it'd be.
Exactly.
It would be no fight. It would just be like tea.
And
Dolls
it's
are awesome. Fuck off. Sorry. Go on.
and this is the thing is and even the comments, and one should never read the comment sections on tabloid magazines or really any site ever. It always goes horribly wrong for my blood pressure. But even this person has high heel shoes, designer clothes, and a toothbrush for a pretend cigarette at 8 years old. Geez, I sure am impressed. What so John likes to walk around. Like if you see Brad will either have a cigarette or a pick hanging out of the corner of his mouth. It's kind of something that he does, and if you stare at his face a lot, you see it a lot. Um, and John will do that with a toothbrush, like have it hang sort of loose in his mouth. And Angie was telling this story as like a cute anecdote, like, oh, isn't this cute? John is emulating his dad or her dad. Um, Surrey wears girly shoes. Like they make heels for little girls, not crazy, but little kitten heels. Um, and designer clothes. I mean, the pharmacy that I work at, the stuff that the kids come in, I'm like, honey, your shoes cost more than like most of the clothes I own added together. So it's sort of weird.
All right.
Even watching adults in the comics section, um, I it just feels really weird. One person is saying that they've never seen Angelina hold John's hand, well, Shiloh's hand. Poor little girl. I do these people think that they're like in these celebrities' homes and that they're around all the time? Like it's so bizarre.
It's so creepy. That is
Hey,
so
hey,
creepy.
you know what? I don't think I ever saw them hold their hands either. Therefore, they must never hold hands.
Exactly. And you must
Clearly,
read many
'Cause
tabloids.
I don't remember ever seeing it. So therefore, it couldn't possibly have happened. Not only in their home, but it couldn't possibly have happened in public, and I just missed it, or I actually took a picture of it and just don't fucking remember. No, it just didn't happen. What?
Yep.
That's like that. That's like saying like, I've never seen Optimus in town with a dog, so obviously he doesn't own dogs. Never
Yeah.
mind the 2 dogs I have in my yard right now. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, I've never seen them hold hands in public, so obviously they don't ever hold hands. I wonder if this stream can pick up sound effects, because this is the reaction I would give them.
That was
So-
Captain America slapping some meat there.
Yeah, that was a. You know what? I'll just give the chat a visual of what that was going on. Y'all keep talking.
The one positive comment is they are both adorable and they both have supportive parents that will guide and support them to make good choices. It could be a lot worse. They could be like the Kardashian Jenner girls. And ironically, in the same magazine is a piece on the youngest of those, who is not much older than my daughter, the youngest Jenner child, who recently had plastic surgery on her face. And I'm fairly certain her face isn't done growing yet. But it was a really nice article about how wonderful her surgery turned out versus the bizarre world of the 8-year-olds who play with dolls. I just don't understand our country sometimes, or our world, I guess, in a bigger thing. It's so bizarre to me. But yeah, and I'm gonna write a nasty letter to Star. I've never read Star, but I've learned from Gamergate that writing nasty letters and things is kind of a good
Productive.
thing. Yeah.
And it does stuff.
Yeah, but
Well,
when you were mentioning the
freaky.
writer, by the way, this was written by Star staff. They didn't put a writer name on the byline.
Oh, no byline?
Oh, you know what that tells me? They fucking knew it was a dirty thing and they did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We have a similar issue here. Women's magazines in this country are disgusting with the shit that they print. I think that's universal, that they
Yes.
are the most gross publications. I mean, and people rip on like Playboy and like adult magazines for being gross. I'm like, bitch, please. Have you read Woman's Day before? Have you read a fucking Cosmo? Holy
Cosmopolitan,
crap.
oh my god. Like, oh,
I despise Cosmo with a burning passion.
the stuff that they write
Go
too.
ahead,
I'm
Cosmo,
just
tell young girls how best to please me and what I think about all the time. Thanks. Good idea. Tell them to read you rather than, I don't know, maybe fucking ask me what I think.
You know what when I was oh shit,
But
I think I was
Cosmo
like
told me
13.
men don't like having conversation.
Yeah, oh, that's right, Remy. I totally forgot those times we sat in calls, just you and me on Skype for like 6 fucking hours straight. Yeah, we didn't talk at all. I was just like, you would just try, and I'd be like, shut up. That's
Shut up,
all-
woman, no talking.
Yeah,
That's
but
obviously
before
exactly what happened. Clearly.
Before we go too deep into the rabbit hole, let's preface this from the earlier conversation that these publications have a right to say what they want to say. Doesn't mean
Yes.
they are right, but they have a right to
Doesn't
say.
mean they get scum for it.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
can look and shoot stink eyes at every person buying it when they do.
Mhm.
Because my eyes have freedom of
Oh,
speech too.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Never get
I will say some of the seconds advice from Cosmo is a little interesting. And when the former professional dominatrix goes, "Well, I haven't tried that before," they're definitely willing to branch out and do stuff.
And apostate SJWs don't like. I don't think they like Cosmo either. Especially
No.
because it's about how to please your man, and they get all in a tizzy. It's like, we're not about pleasing men.
Yeah.
No. So it's Cosmo's not winning any brownie points with SJWs at all. So that's not that. That's just Cosmo catering to really the same kind of traditionalist bullshit. Basically the idea
yeah.
that women need to worry about how to please men and shit, and that men are just idiots and they don't have thoughts in their heads. It's the same kind of gendered crap that's been in fucking magazines since like the 40s.
I
Like, you
just
reach
accidentally
Adeline?
saw a
Oh,
man naked. Wow. Oh, not just any man. I just saw Burt Reynolds naked on a bearskin rug.
Burt freaking Reynolds!
Well,
Okay.
So if
How-
you go
how-
to Cosmo.com, it's right at the top. You click the link and you go, and there's a full. He's as hairy as the rug. Oh my goodness.
That's Burt Reynolds, all right.
well, this is going.
I'm not
places.
looking at it. I'm just saying, Burt Reynolds. Man's man kind of thing.
Yeah, and then oh my God, this is all naked men.
What the hell?
Because then I scroll down and he's famous, he's in things, and he's wearing whipped cream on his wink. Is his wink really that big? And on his
Remy,
chest.
come on, focus.
I'm focused. I'm still scrolling, and then there's a Mickey Outie picture. Hey, there's an Intel thing. There's Justin Bieber, pretty mostly naked.
Please, your God, no
don't-
more.
Whatever you do, Remy, don't look at chat right now.
This is why you don't go to Cosmo, ladies and gentlemen. Remy will just start reading and looking at it, and it's very disturbing, and I don't want to hear
Oh
it.
man,
I
I'll
don't
tell you a
give a
story
shit.
about Cosmo,
that's okay.
right?
Tell us
Here-
about Cosmo.
I grew up in a town called Melbourne, a city, and we had this thing.
Everyone
Sorry?
should see it.
Anyway, so we had this thing every September in Melbourne, called the Royal Melbourne Show, right? It's like a spring fair kind of thing, right? It's huge. It goes on for like 2 weeks, and you get these things called show bags, right? And you pay like $12, and you get like this bag, and it's all colorful, and it's got like candy and different kinds of shit in it, right? You can get different kinds, like there's Barbie ones and chocolate ones and candy ones and all other kinds of shit. Anyway, so I got when I was 13 or 14, I went with my mom, and she went and she got me a show bag she thought I would like, right? And it was like for teen girls, okay? And I was like, that's nice, but this one doesn't have the fake blood in it. But anyway, so we went home and I was going through it, and it had like tampons and fucking like a lip gloss and a copy of Cosmopolitan magazine. And I'm like, and in that copy of Cosmopolitan magazine was a story on how to blow jobs properly. And I'm
And
like,
it was probably wrong. Their blowjob advice is really horrible.
yeah, it is. But yeah, I'm like, I am a baby. What is this? Ay.
Yeah.
But-
Ugh.
But that bag, it was like teen girl bag. Like it was literally marketed towards teen girls.
That's
Sorry, yeah.
modern media. Yeah, I have the worst.
Yeah, but
because-
this was like 16 years ago.
Which was not that long ago in the big scheme of things, though. It's really strange because having a teenage child, you all need to stop picking on me. You're all very mean people. The
I
chat.
do
you
want you to
mean-
go on about the blowjobs, though.
Or
But it's very any other. Yes, I have had other jobs in the sex industry. But um it's very, very weird being the parent of a teenage child person because at the same time there's all of this inundation of stuff in the media and in the press and all of the places, and then at the same time I'm like, but it's my baby. So yeah, it's very strange. I love Ninja, I love you because you're just like, sounds interesting, totally bored.
In
Uh,
subtle, it's like I don't know what's going on anymore.
No, Remy's jobs were legal all over the country. I worked outside of Washington, D.C. I didn't do anything super naughty, guys. Come on. It's me.
Remy and Naughty.
No. Never, 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 never happens. I am chaste and virtuous, and it's just,
Solid
So-
happy me is like many dots and then okie dokie sure.
So yeah, video games.
Well, we
TJ
didn't even talk
Bierschach
about-
is like, I'm not one, my son is.
I am, and we
Oh,
did not at all talk about what games we were playing. Speaking of video games, we sort of skipped
we
over
could get to that part now. We still have like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we should totally. That should be a thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Remy's playing
Well-
the game called Peru's Cosmo.
Remy quit that game because it started to scar her, and she had to run away. There were videos. I had to go.
Wait a minute. No, let's see.
What percentage of DOMs are actually turned on by what they do?
I enjoyed my job. This is not appropriate for this show though, so we will
Sorry.
totally
Yeah,
carry
yeah,
that on
yeah.
somewhere
well,
else. But no, I actually am going to be doing a few, not with the whole crew. I would definitely be welcome to have each of you on, but I'm going to be doing a bi-weekly series on the sex industry in this country and in Europe. Starting beginning of February is my goal for start date. So questions like that will definitely come up. I have a couple of professional dummies coming on, as well as a wonderful professional dom to talk about the difference of genders in the industry, as well as a lovely prostitute from Nevada who I am very fond of, and I'm trying to get a couple of phone sex workers to come on, but it's hard because of all of the industries that has sort of the biggest
Hard.
stigma. Listen, mister, that has the biggest stigma associated with it.
Biggest
I will
stigma.
talk to you about this later, Remy.
Yes. So, but that's the thing. So yeah, next month I will definitely, bring it up and shill on this show for that. So, yeah, that's
I
the
lo-
thing. 'Cause yay, sex.
Yeah, yes, very much so. There
I can't say I'm
so-
opposed to this line of
fewer
talking.
statements can be more truth there.
So, video games. What I have been playing lately is I had been playing the full-time mom with a sick child and a full-time job, and I restarted college on Monday. So,
And now.
that's my game right now. I'm really sad.
Real life.
I opened my laptop and it was like, wow now? And I was like, nope, sorry, homework. So, yeah.
And then the laptop died, went and drank, and then hooked up with a dirty printer. It was terrible.
So, Socks,
Well,
have you
tell-
been
got-
playing anything
Irish.
fun? Did you get to play your shark game yet?
Oh my god, I did. I did. I played Depth. Holy crap. For those of you who don't know, Remy gave me a copy of Depth for Christmas. That's the game where you play as divers versus sharks or sharks versus divers. Okay, now, when I loaded that game up, I picked random, right? So I pick either side. And I played the sharks first. And I was like, oh, this isn't that scary. This is fun. Look, haha, I nom that diver, haha. It was really fun, right? And I recorded this. Don't worry, this is gonna be a video. And the next round, I was a diver, and I was like, "Oh, this is just standard FPS, blah blah blah. This is like TF2 with sharks." And then a shark got me, and I lost my fucking mind. Alright. because like the view is like because it's an FPS game, right? Sort of when you're playing a diver, right? When you're a shark, it's third person. But anyway, it was really scary because you look down, right, and the shark has got you by like the torso. It's got its legs and like your stomach all in its mouth. And I was like, ah, and I can't deal shark face, man. I can't deal with shark face. So I flipped my shit, and that was like Nope Town population sucks.
Ever
Uh-uh.
since Finding Nemo, it just scarred you.
I mean,
Fucking.
I
And
mean,
the
don't like
worst
great.
part
I
for you
mean,
is those sharks were Aussie. Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
but don't great whites just like walk around in the street in Australia too, just like just
We
up.
have sky sharks.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have the flying sharks. It's the worst thing.
I,
Except even the
I've
flying
seen that.
sharks go inside at
I've
night
seen
because you
that in
don't.
WoW, and it scared me to death. It was wonderful. It was awesome.
when
And
when you
God.
hear Gashunk, run.
Yeah, yeah. When you see a land shark, you get the hell out of there.
Gashunk.
uh,
That's the noise they make when they burst through a door.
okay.
Yeah.
Gershunk. Gotta remember that.
Gashunk.
I
Kira, what
am
do you do?
Sorry.
glad that the game that I gave you scarred you.
It
And I
did.
look forward
and,
to
like,
that video being up.
yeah.
I'm excited.
No, yeah. I have to edit it because I said some stuff. I said some stuff that even with the stuff that I do say, nope. I forgot to be on for that.
Wait. We're getting socks unfiltered. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
what you
Getting
get right now, this is filtered, right? But so
Oh God. So
mhm.
yeah, Fuhrer, what you are playing?
A little bit of WoW. Oh, but before that, I gotta tell. Played the crap out of Lego Batman. Like, just went in there and just tongue all in the butthole that was. No, I'm kidding.
He's not
It,
lying. It ate him for days.
it was
Days and
good.
days.
The
It was a
Lego
very
games are
good
pretty
game.
good though, dude.
It was a lot of fun. They have Kevin Smith in it, Conan O'Brien, uh, the Green Lantern, also known as Duck Dodgers, also known as Daffy Duck, in it
Uh-huh.
as a playable character. Adam West, as usual, and they have an old-timey mission where you basically go back to 60s Batman and fight, and all these hilarious little mini games and settings that you can activate. All the characters they have Batman from the Darkest Night or from Blackest Night. They have Black Hand from Blackest Night. They have a lot of the Lantern Corps guys from all the Lantern Corps. They have the Indigo Lanterns for crying out loud. They have a lot of Batman villains, different costumes, outfits, different characters. It's amazing, amazing the spread they've got. So much so that I'm actually willing to or thinking about buying the season pass for the game. By the way, can I just say how angry that is that I am that they actually have a season pass on a Lego game? That annoys me to no end. But
Yeah.
um, I would probably still buy it just because I kind of want the characters to look fun. But it was a ton of fun. It's just a really enjoyable little story. Um, Everyone should play that game, I think, because it's fun. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, I guess it's my turn then.
Mhm.
Uh,
You.
I have been playing some Sonic Racing Transformed a lot lately. I got to say it's kind of surprised me. It's a fun game. Um, Even though it's essentially what isn't a Mario Kart clone when it has kart racing plus characters, but I thought they did a really pretty good job of that. Also picked up over Christmas. I picked up Ultra Street Fighter 4 and have been enjoying that. Adil has been handing me my ass every time we play. Uh, which
Adil's
is
in the chat though, so at this point he's your bitch. Go.
yeah. Yeah, there's that, and still, I mean, the big one I want to get to is Shovel Knight. I'm probably just going to go over that this weekend and start playing it because I've been wanting to for since I got it. But it was about waiting for the controller. I have the controller, then I was like, oh, fighting games, and started playing that. Oh, racing games, started playing those. So yeah, I'm gonna try to play regular game. Just
Oh, I want to.
Psh, my
I
face
think
when you're doing that instead of getting caught up in WoW. Jeez.
I had an idea after Socks says things, by the way.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just one sec. You guys, you're saying racing games, and I know we're all WoW players. I had to control that. Um, there's a game coming out soon, an MMORPG. And it's based on the Sleeping Dogs universe and takes place in Hong Kong.
I need to sleep and have a life and eat and things.
No,
This is really
you're gonna.
bad.
Yeah, it's really bad, right? It's that that third person GTA sandbox style thing that
Triad Wars. Oh my
Triad Wars.
God,
Yes,
look at
that's
it.
what it's called.
I
It's called
enjoyed
Triad
our
Wars.
friendships, guys, and I will miss you so much.
But
You
ready.
guys sign up for the beta. Sign up for the beta.
Yes, I will. Like right.
Um
Mm,
yeah. That it's looking so good.
yeah, I want to touch it.
So exactly. It's everything that like APB tried to be but couldn't be because it didn't have any money.
Oh my God, look at it.
Yeah.
This actually segues really well into my idea that I had, which was how would you guys feel about our viewers and listeners suggesting a game? I was thinking that we could maybe put up, I could find, and I'm willing to fund it, like 4 game options for them to pick from. And us each, I will get it for us. It has to be on Steam, and I will make sure it is within my budget. But how would you feel about them picking games for us to play and discuss each week?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can even think of a few games we could play.
Mm-hmm.
They would also be MMOs though, and actually free to play ones too. So
So, no.
Rusty Hawk.
See,
no,
the second part
apostate,
is-
no,
Apostate,
you
no,
do not get to.
absolutely not. You get
Apostate,
that
you
evil-
have
don't
you
put
have
that evil
forfeited
on
the
us.
right to make
Absolutely not,
suggestions, sir. You do not get to make suggestions anymore.
no. Your suggestion privileges are revoked.
Yeah, just get out of the stream. Don't come. No, I'm kidding.
We like you, don't leave. No, I'm just sad
What?
because he the way that you said games for us to play and then it went downhill from there. But okay, so I think that this shall be something good. I will put up the poll on my hitbox and keep it open, and then next show we'll close the poll and announce what game we'll be playing. I'll probably put it up like tomorrow and tweet out the link and stuff. But that way I don't play MMOs. People cover up my screen. I like going outside. The sun and I are friends.
Yeah, she doesn't play MMOs, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft.
I have a
May-
problem.
It may wind up getting her into other MMOs by accident. What?
You are a
What?
horrible
Pardon me?
influencer.
But you
Absolutely
love it.
horrible.
It's fine.
I do, but this is really, I think socks might be worst influence ever because this just looks delicious.
Where is this at? I
Damn
want
it,
to
Sock.
see.
You're welcome.
Fight for that title. I want to be worst
Oh,
ever.
I'll give you a link to Triad Wars. Just Google search Triad Wars.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't into the Googles. Okay, I will.
You say it's based in the Sleeping Dog universe?
Yes.
Oh.
It is.
It's-
I haven't played
Oh,
Dogs yet, so I don't know.
Play that
What?
game, man.
what?
Yeah.
It's dude. It's Hong Kong Triad GTA. It's the best.
It's amazing.
I figure that's
If
what
you-
it is. I just hadn't played it.
It
that's all.
is basically Sleeping Dogs is the true crime series just renamed when Square
Yeah.
took it over.
It's
Oh,
rough,
okay.
and I like it, and it makes me want to touch.
See, this is probably why I've never
Thing.
played it. I've never really played a lot of the GTA games or True Crime or Saints Row.
What
They
is
just never
really
hooked me that much. Now,
a friend of mine.
granted,
no,
caveat, slight caveat. I did play. I do have. What is it? Vice City. And
Oh my god, that
Yes,
guy just
yeah.
broke that guy's leg. I need to play this game.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
could you imagine just grabbing another actual player's character's leg and just doing that? That would be so much fun. Socks,
Yeah.
we gotta play this. We've
I
gotta,
know.
we've gotta do this.
I know.
I'll register
It's
for
gonna
this
be the
closed beta,
best.
if the page would load.
yeah, I'm having trouble loading it too.
But but yeah,
You guys are hogging Page. Give us Page.
tell a little story about true crime. Was it the first one? Streets of L.A. Was the first one, right?
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah. So here's a funny thing about the story. Though I think L.A. was better than New York, but Sleeping Dogs just kind of blew that out of the water. Blew them both out of the water. But the funny thing was when you're playing through true crimes, everything's fine. So you're pretty much crime drama type game. Everything's cool, and you're going along doing your cop thing, and you're killing the bad guys, and all of a sudden, boom, dragons. Right in the middle of Los Angeles, here's dragons.
What?
Kind of broke the immersion. It was like, oh, everything's going fire. They're fucking dragons. When the fuck did this become Skyrim?
Yeah, oh, okay. So you did mean literal dragons. All right.
Yes, it was literal dragons. I'm not kidding. This wasn't a gang. It wasn't, a euphemism. It was fucking dragons.
Yep.
And I remember me and my, because this is in a day where you would hung out with people because there was no interwebs that you could play good games with that good, and so we were just like sitting around. Oh, this game is cool. What the fuck just happened? Why are there fucking dragons?
Hold on a second. You can't accuse Saints Row 4 of breaking the immersion. Here's why.
No. I think 1 was the only one that even had immersion.
1 and 2 were kind of,
I liked whooping on people with my huge dildo gun, so seriously.
But yeah, 3 and 4 just kind of, through the seriousness or any kind of
one
pretense.
Was straight up. I think 1 was straight up trying to take itself seriously.
Yeah.
2 kind of, they were like, yeah, let's get a little silly with it because why not? And then 3 was like, hey, let's just go a little crazy. That's fine. And then in 4, I think they said it best when, on Saints Row 4, it said, how'd they put it? They said, Saints Row 4. Hold on, I'll look up the description. Y'all keep talking.
I didn't really like Saints Row 4.
It was not as good as 3.
Yeah.
It was not as good.
No,
as 3.
it wasn't even that, man. It was a really short game. I paid
it wasn't meant to
$50
be DLC.
for it. And it was
DLC
yeah, I know, but it was short. I feel like they cut out a lot of content by giving you like superpowers as the way to move around. It was kind of I didn't like it.
What was the point of getting cars and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of like
felt
doing that.
Yeah, it felt really short, and I didn't like that.
All right, let's see.
I am registered, and I am taking a survey to increase my chances.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That was like what we did with WildStar. Oh my goodness, taking surveys. And then playing the game and getting all excited, and then it just, unrateable from Australia.
Okay, so here's talking about the key features. Play as the President of the United States in a story that spans country, space, and time. Saints Row 4 is to Saints Row the Third what Saints Row the Third is to do the right thing.
See?
Yeah.
Was that a sentence?
It was never even intended to be anything even remotely serious. I mean, the game ends with... Is that a spoiler? The game's been out for like 2 years.
You might as well throw it. Who cares?
The game ends with you riding a fucking space raptor while it sings Walk the Dinosaur. I shit you fucking not, man. Like, and then Shaundy marries the king of the space raptors, and then the ends, and then they go time trolling with a fucking time machine, and
after they blow up Earth, where else can they go? I mean,
yeah, exactly. So they just go time trolling.
And the fact is that that's not a spoiler because they literally blow up the Earth within the first hour.
Not even, dude. It's like the very first fucking thing that happens in the game is like, you're the fucking president. Let's fuck up France. And then suddenly aliens attack, and then you get fucked up, and then the Earth blows up. The end. And that's the start of the game.
I was very sad that we lost Oleg, but
Anyway.
I finished my survey.
Oh God,
Good.
you kids and your surveys.
Good job, Remy.
I want the thing so bad.
and your
Mhm.
betas and your your
Hey.
betas.
That can go
Ah.
many ways.
All these. Oh God, all these Anthony Birches up in here that we're.
Oh God.
Remy, I think a lot of some people were just like, huh? What? Finally? Oh.
Oh goodness gracious. What have we
I'm
Maybe
just
not
we
being
talked
too
should-
nice
about?
to curse.
Somebody
What else?
asked me on AskFM what spaghetti was. It's like that thing I
it's
spill
a-
on Fewer all the time.
It is a
Whoop,
pasta.
whoop. I just do laps in it now. There's enough. My
There's
pool is
so
full of that.
much. Yeah, so much.
It's pretty
Maybe
nice.
we should wrap this up because it's descending into madness.
Yes.
Well,
Well, I was gonna say
Oh,
I'll
come
put up.
on. We can save 10 minutes for madness.
well, I was gonna say I have one thing. Well, I can go ahead and bring it up because it just came up like the other day. Just a real quick thing. The PlayStation Now service is launching later this month, and
Oh yeah.
they announced their pricing, which is going to be $19.99 a month, and I think it was $44.99 for 3 months or something like that. And whereas I can see it's okay for something like PlayStation TV where you don't need a subscription, for that service. If you're on PlayStation 4, you kind of need PlayStation Plus. So you have PlayStation Plus, you're paying a sub for that on top of a $19.99 to use PlayStation Now.
What is
So
PlayStation? I don't into PlayStation.
PlayStation Now is Sony's streaming service where you'll be able to stream PlayStation 3 games onto the PS4.
No, thank you. I think that's a bit stupid.
Yeah, that's why I kept my PlayStation 3. Well,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't graduated to a 4 yet, so.
Well, neither have I, but it's kind of like I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I still have my PS2 and my PS1. So like, I don't have those lying around. I still have a
Well,
Dreamcast.
Well, get
But-
this. I have the mythical 60 gig PS3.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, the
I think we have one too.
the one with all the backwards compatibility. Yeah.
I think.
So
we
you
have-
you think that's ever going to leave my possession? Hell to the no. so
Nice.
but what I'm saying is for people who don't have access to a PS3 and stuff like that, I think it's a good idea, but at the same time, I think that's a little bit price prohibitive because it's a streaming service and
Eh,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's like
completely unviable in this country because anything that's a streaming service is unviable in Australia because our internet is retarded.
well, that was kind of like I know they they did a beta of it on not at E3, but it was one of the trade shows. It wasn't CES last year, but it was some trade show where they kind of did a beta presentation of
So
it.
the
And
Tokyo Game Show?
it might have been. Now I think about it, it might have been Tokyo Game Show, and that was kind of it was where they said it was functional. It was still like laggy, and that was
Mhm.
on the show floor
Mm.
where it was probably being streamed to maybe like 10 devices.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you add 100,000 to that or a million?
Yeah.
I don't see it as. I really don't think it's going to take off. Honestly, I think it's they would have been better off just like doing some kind of emulation and letting you just play it on your PS4. Play a disc on your PS4. But what do I know? I'm trying to be a consumer advocate. So yeah. So I think we could all agree that's a bit price prohibitive, huh?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
And
Mhm.
the chat is trying to channel their inner Birch.
Yeah. To beta it up
What's-
so they can be Cuckmaster
what-
6000.
What's an inner birch?
That's where you're a beta cuck, and
That's why you're such a beta that not only your little sister owns everything you do, but your wife leaves you and takes your Wii U.
What a
I mean, did that really? That
Yes.
yes,
yes.
yes.
Why do we even know that really happened?
He fucking said so on the internet. He aired
he's
his
an
goddamn dirty
idiot.
laundry.
He thinks if he says everything, suddenly the internet, which doesn't like him for a lot of reasons, will be like, "Oh, Muffin, no."
I just.
By the way, can I just clarify? The reason I said what's an inner birch, the joke was supposed to be I have no inner birch, so
Oh,
have fun.
okay.
That was the joke.
I'm just still baffled at the. I don't even know what to do with. So he was just like, oh hey internet, by the way, she took. Oh bless.
No, shits were he was like getting shit or something, and he was like, "Leave me alone. This is happening right now. Go away." It's
Yeah.
like
The way you said that
it's
was
just like,
priceless.
well, I can tell you what's not gonna happen now. Them going away.
Oh goodness gracious.
Yeah. Get on Twitter and said, "Hey, you guys, leave me alone." It's not. The
Hey,
way-
you guys, leave me alone. My wife just left me and took the Wii. I can't even into Smash. So,
Oh no.
And by the way, I'm an admitted cuckold.
Wait, Fox, did you just read his actual tweet?
no.
Okay, because it was gonna be like, if that's actually what he said, that would be so amazing.
I just.
Oh, we're killing Master Ninja.
I'm sorry. But hey, remember that
Wait,
free speech
Master
thing?
Ninja, die. Can I have your stuff?
Oh.
What was that phrase, Sox, you were gonna say?
I'll take your stuff and your wife, Master Ninja. There you go.
I've
Then you'll
got
be
dibs
birched
on
in
his
death.
lady friend. I have dibs on Ninja's lady friend
No,
a month
I'm
ago.
taking- Be birched in death by me. So there.
I got infinite respawns. So, Sox, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I said, remember that whole freedom of speech thing?
Oh yeah.
That
Mhm.
applies here.
We're exercising our freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're exercising our freedom of speech. Anthony Birch, you're a cuck faggot.
Oh God.
Oh
I
my
just
god.
can't even. There's
Anyway.
things that you do in a breakup, and that would not be
One of them.
one of them.
The things I do in a breakup are cut off all contact with the person and make
He
sure I have
does
none of
not
their
have
stuff.
me blocked on Twitter, though, so he's one of the few people who doesn't have me blocked on Twitter.
I don't think
Oh, he has me blocked. He has
he doesn't
me
use.
blocked.
I don't think he uses the block bot. Because I don't think I'm blocked by him. Because I did. I actually sent him words of sympathy way earlier. Because I was like, you know what, you take a lot of shit, but I do hope things kind of get better for you. Hope you'll
And
be a
then he
better
called us
fucking person
pedophiles.
from it. But I do hope you don't get feel miserable for the rest of your life. I don't. That sucks. That's not a good feeling for anybody. So I don't think he has me blocked.
I am
and
proud
definitely
that
not
the
blocked.
people that block me are not blocking me with the block bot. There are.
They actually had to hit a button.
They
And...
had to hit a button. I take pride in the blocks that I have.
Remy, you are worth a button, and sometimes many other buttons.
On that note,
I don't-
we have
I'm-
filled 2 hours of you lovely people's time. Socks, would you like to wrap up and tell our good nights?
Okay.
So say one last.
Sure.
I just wanted to leave off a message after Socks is done saying goodbye. So
Okay.
thank you.
All right. So we have been the Dead Gamers talking. I hope you have enjoyed this meandering. Basically, it was verbal shitposting for a lot of it. But I do hope you took something away from it. Vis-a-vis regarding the Charlie Hebdo thing. And realize that a lot of us do actually care about ethics in journalism and free speech. So yeah, I have been Socks. You can find me on Twitter at Renaxus and on YouTube at NeatLife. And I will hand over to Optimus.
Well, you pretty much summed up everything that I would have said. It's all about speaking with your own voice and, respecting free speech, but that does not mean you have to be rolled over. So that's my words of encouragement to everybody. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you want to give me a follow, I'm at Optimus Deadpool on Twitter. I swear to holy God, I will have something on my YouTube channel at some point or another. So, yeah. Since fear wants the last word, Remy, you want to chill?
Sure, I am Remy Punks pretty much all over the internets. You can find me here on Hitbox. I will be playing video hopefully tomorrow evening, fingers crossed. On Twitter, I am Remy Punks. On Facebook, I am Remy Punks. I think that's all of the places that I am. I will be putting up the poll for you guys to vote and decide what game we will be playing in the future, and I promise I will tweet out and let you guys know as soon as possible. If you do follow me here on Hitbox, you'll get the tweets and all of the information when we go live with the show. So it's a good thing. Have a good night, be safe, and be good to each other, you guys.
Okay, and that leaves me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, as do all my co-hosts. I am Fewer, as my handle is at FewerFrayed, as you know. My Steam name is FewerFrayed as well. Spelled as just as you see it on the screen there. Follow me if you like. You don't have to. I don't care. If you want to be my friend on Steam, go ahead. I don't care. I don't usually play a lot of multiplayer games, so it's probably a wasted spot. And be louder. That's what I want to leave everyone off tonight with. Be louder. Stand up for what's right. Good night, guys.